Welcome to Science to Sleep. We all know the story of a brilliant scientist, a man of logic, a man of peace. His name is Bruce Banner, but the world knows him by another name, a name that brings fear, the Hulk. Imagine a giant, green machine of pure muscle. He can jump over buildings. He can stop tanks with his bare hands. For years, we watched him in movies and read about him in comics. But let's stop for a moment. Let's think like a scientist. Is it possible? Could a human body really change like that? Could radiation really give us power? Or will it just give us silence? In the world of Marvel, everything starts with a mistake. A hero saves a young boy from a testing site, and in that moment, he is hit by a massive wave of gamma radiation. This is the birth of the Hulk. But what is the invisible force? To understand the Hulk, we must first understand the light that created him. In science, light is not just what we see with our eyes. Light is a spectrum. On one side, we have radio waves that carry music through the air. In the middle, we have the colors of the rainbow. But at the very end of the spectrum, there is a dark and powerful energy called gamma rays. These rays are the most energetic form of light in the entire universe. They are born in the hearts of dying stars and in the most violent explosions in deep space. Gamma rays are not like sunlight. Sunlight hits your skin and makes you feel warm. But gamma rays do not stop at your skin. They are like tiny, invisible gas bullets. Because they have so much energy and such a short wavelength, they can pass through your clothes, through your skin, and even through solid wall of lead or concrete. When Bruce Banner was hit by that explosion, billions of these invisible bullets traveled through his body in a fraction of a second. In a movie, this energy gives him a superpower, but in the real world of biology, this energy does something much more terrifying. It hits the most important part of you, your DNA. Inside every cell of your body, there is a blueprint, a set of instructions that tells your body how to be you. Gamma radiation is so strong that it literally tears this blueprint apart. It breaks the chemical bonds of your DNA. Usually, when DNA is damaged this badly, the cell realizes it cannot function anymore. The cell simply dies. This is why radiation is used to fight cancer. We use it to kill bad cells. So, in reality, a gamma bomb will not create a giant. It will create a silence at the cellular level. But for the sake of our story, we must ask, what if the body did not die? What if the cells tried to fix themselves in a new, strange way? This leads us to our next mystery, the love of energy. Let's imagine that Bruce Banner survived the radiation. Now, he gets angry, and something incredible happens. He grows. He becomes bigger, taller, and much heavier. In seconds, a man who weighs 70 kilograms becomes a monster that weighs 600 kilograms. It looks amazing on the screen, but here we run into a giant wall called physics. To understand why this is a problem, we must talk about a famous scientist from the 18th century. His name was Antoine Lavoisier. He is often called the father of modern chemistry. Lavoisier discovered a fundamental law of our universe, the law of conservation of mass. In simple English, this law says matter is neither created or destroyed. This means you cannot create something out of nothing. If you want to build a house, you need bricks. If you want to grow a muscle, you need atoms. When you see Hulk growing in a movie, you have to ask a very simple question. Where did the extra 500 kilograms come from? In our daily lives, if we want to gain weight or build muscle, we have to eat. We take atoms from food and turn them into our own body. But Hulk does not stop to eat 10,000 steaks before he transforms. He grows in seconds. For this to be biologically possible, Hulk will need to be like a biological sponge. He will need to absorb atoms from the air around him at an incredible speed. But our air is mostly nitrogen and oxygen. Is thin. To get 500 kilograms of mass from the air, Hulk would have to create a vacuum, sucking in all the air in the room like a giant black hole. Another theory is that his cells divide so fast that they create mass. But even then, according to Albert Einstein's famous formula, E equals mc squared, creating that much mass would require an amount of energy equal to a nuclear bomb. So, every time Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk, he is breaking the most basic rule of the universe. He is a ghost that defies gravity and logic. But even if we ignore the mass, there is another secret hidden in the muscles. A secret that we actually see in some real animals on Earth. Up until now, we have talked about why the Hulk is impossible. We talk about radiation and the laws of physics. But what if I told you that, in a way, the Hulk actually exists, not as a green giant, but as a biological reality in the animal kingdom? In our bodies, there is a very important protein. It acts like a stop sign for our muscles. The name of this protein is myostatin. Its only job is to tell your muscles, okay, that's enough. Do not grow any bigger. This is important because muscles require a lot of energy. If your muscles grow forever, your heart and your lungs could not keep up. But sometimes nature makes a mistake. Sometimes a living being is born without this stop sign. Take a look at the Belgian blue bull. This is a famous breed of cattle that has a natural genetic mutation. Because they lack the myostatin signal, their muscles grow twice as larger as a normal cow. They look like they spend all day in the gym. They are the hulks of the farm. We see this in dogs too. There is a famous whippet dog named Wendy. While most whippets are thin and fast, Wendy was born with a double muscle mutation. She looks incredibly powerful, with huge shoulders and a thick neck, all because her DNA forgot to tell her muscles to stop. Even in humans, this can happen. In very rare cases, children are born with a myostatin deficiency. At only 2 or 3 years old, these children have the muscle definition of an adult athlete. They are incredibly strong without ever lifting a weight. So, why are not we all like this? Why are not we all super strong? The answer is balance. In nature, being a hulk is very expensive. Big muscles need a huge amount of oxygen and food. A real-life hulk will need to eat almost constantly to stay alive. If he did not eat, his own muscles will starve his brain and heart. Nature chose to make us normal, so we could survive during times when food was scarce. We are not weak, we are efficient. But this leaves us with one final question about the Hulk. If he has all this muscle, how does his mind handle the heat of the transformation? One of the most iconic things about the Hulk is his color. But have you ever wondered why green? In the very first comic books, Hulk was actually gray. But because of printing problems, he was changed to green. However, from a biological perspective, being a green mammal is almost impossible. Think about the world around you. We see green birds, green snakes, and green frogs. But have you ever seen a green dog or green lion? No. Mammals generally do not produce green pigment. Our skin colors come from something called melanin, which gives us shades of brown, black, or red. So, for Bruce Banner to turn green, something very strange must happen in his chemistry. There are only 2 ways a human could biologically turn green. The first way is through chlorophyll. This is the substance plants use to turn sunlight into energy. If the gamma radiation somehow merged Bruce's DNA with a plant, his skin could become green. But there is a problem. A human is much more active than a tree. To get enough energy from the sun to move his giant muscles, Hulk would need leaves as big as a football stadium. The second way is more medical and a bit gross. In our bodies, when we have a bruise, it sometimes turns green after a few days. This happens because of a molecule called biliverdin. It is a waste product found bile. If Hulk's transformation is so violent that it causes all his internal blood vessels to break at once, his body might be flooded with biliverdin. He will not be a superhero. He will be one giant, walking bruise. There is also the question of heat. This is why we need another scientist, James Prescott Joule. He studied how energy turns into heat. As we said before, Hulk grows very fast. In physics, when you move atoms that quickly, you create friction and heat. If a human grew that much muscle in 5 seconds, his body temperature will rise to hundreds of degrees. He will not just be green, he will be glowing red like a piece of hot metal. He will literally cook himself from the inside out. So, the green skin is a beautiful mystery of the movies, but in nature, it is a sign of a body in deep trouble. The Hulk is not just about muscle, he is about emotion. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry is his most famous line. But what is anger? Really? In our brains, there is a tiny, almond-shaped part called the amygdala. This is the center of our emotions, and it is the home of our fight or flight response. When you get angry, your amygdala sends a panic signal to your whole body. It tells your adrenaline glands to release a flood of adrenaline and cortisol. In a split second, your heart beats faster, your lungs take in more oxygen, and your blood flows away from your stomach into your muscle. This is why, in moments of extreme danger, people sometimes show historical strength. You might have heard stories of parents lifting cars to save their children. But for a normal person, this super strength lasts for only a few seconds, and it comes with a high price. It can tear your tendons and break your own bones because the brain usually prevents us from using 100% of our muscle power to protect us. In Bruce Banner's case, the gamma radiation might have broken the safety switch. When he becomes the Hulk, his brain is in a state of permanent hysterical strength. His prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that thinks logically and keeps us calm, is completely turned off. He is controlled entirely by his amygdala. He is all instinct and no logic. However, there is a biological limit to anger. Adrenaline is like a toxic fuel. If it stays in your systems for too long, it damages your heart and wears out your nervous system. A real-life Hulk will be constantly exhausted. After just a few minutes of smashing, his body will run out of glucose, the sugar that fuels our cells. He will collapse and fall into a deep coma-like sleep. This brings us to a fascinating realization. We might not turn green, and we might not grow 10 feet tall, but we all have a little bit of the Hulk inside your brains. Every time we get angry, we feel that surge of energy. But luckily for us, our biology prefers peace over power. So, we have looked at the radiation, the impossible mass, the green skin, and the fire of anger. Science tells us that a real-life Hulk is not possible. Our universe has rules created by physics and biology that keep us safe. A human body simply cannot transform into a giant without breaking the very laws of life. But as we finish our journey today, I want you to think about something else. You may not be a green monster that can jump over mountains. You may not have gamma radiation in your blood. But right now, as you lie there in the quiet of the night, your body is doing something just as incredible. Inside you, billions of cells are working in total silence. They are like a tiny army of scientists and engineers. While you rest, your body is checking your DNA for mistakes. It is repairing the small damage from the day. It is cleaning your brain and building your muscles while you dream. In science, this is called homeostasis, the beautiful balance of life. We don't need to turn into a Hulk to be strong. The real strength is how our bodies keep us alive. Breath after breath, heartbeat after heartbeat, in a world that is always changing. Bruce Banner's story is a tragedy because he can never find peace. But you can. You don't have to fight, and you don't have to smash. You have the power of sleep. And in the world of biology, sleep is the most powerful superpower we have. It is time when we heal, when we grow, and when we prepare for a new day. Thank you for joining me on this scientific journey today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of the Hulk, don't forget to subscribe for more quiet stories of science. Now, take a deep breath. Let your muscle relax. Your body has everything it needs. You are a biological wonder, just as you are. Now, I will leave you alone with the 432 Hz frequency music.